For this beautiful day, we bless the name of the Lord. We stopped in your last work talking about the relief and drainage of Africa. And in the relief, we talked about how high a place is above the level of sea and how low a place is above the level of sea. That is highlands and lowlands. We also talked about drainage, the rivers, that is water bodies, the rivers in Africa, the River Nile, we talked about River Niger, River Orange, and so many others. We talked about where they are being located, the rivers and their locations in the map of Africa. Today we'll be looking at climate and vegetation. I come again. Climate and vegetation. These are the things we have today. They are just like we treated relief and drainage. Relief was on its own, talking about highlands and lowlands. Then drainage was talking about water body. Today we are looking at climate and vegetation of Africa. There are two things too coming together on one topic. Before we begin to look at what they are, I want to remind you that in our last term, we talked about climate, and I told you it is the weather atmospheric condition of a place. We defined climate and we looked at some elements, especially in SS1, some elements of climate like rainfall, wind, humidity, pressure, and so many others. So that's talking about the climate. Then we're going to what we have discussed in SS1 and even in our last work. Today we are looking at climate and vegetation of Africa. Let us look together at the objectives for this lesson as we want to proceed, what we intend to achieve in our usual manner. That is the learning objectives. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to name the major climate types. That's number one. Number two, locate these climate types on map of Africa. That's number two. Number three, discuss the vegetation types and their locations. Number three. Then number four, state the importance of vegetation. These are areas we need to look at today, where these vegetations are, what we gain from them, these zones we'll talk about, the vegetation in these zones. Then I have told you that we have elements of climate. We also have factors that affect climate. They include the latitude, altitude, continentality or distance from the sea, natural vegetation and soil, cloud cover, so many others. We'll look at this one after the other, these factors. Let's look at the latitude. We said latitude the other time that Africa is on latitude 37 degrees north and 35 degrees, between 37 degrees north and 35 degrees south. Those places near the equator, we call them the tropic side, that's from the equator close to the Tropic of Cancer and the Capricorn. We said the sun is always sun altitude is always very high in those areas. And so they have high temperature. We have just like come to place a lamp in a particular place, the light will shine very well. So latitude also, we have the sun's altitude to be high. If it is mounted, if the sun overhead at the Tropic of Cancer, the temperature there will be high. And the Tropic of Capricorn will have low temperature. So the altitude, the latitude of a particular place have something to do with the climate too of that particular area. The next thing is altitude. Altitude means height of a place above the level of how high a place is too. Let me put it that way. Then we also know that in our SS1 work, we talked about normal lapse rate. It means for every 1,000 meters of ascent, that is actually climate of the atmosphere, there is minus 6.5 degrees Celsius. in the temperature. So those living in mountain, like we discussed last week, that mountainous area are always having cold temperature. So the higher you go, the lower in the colder it becomes. So where you are, whether you high or low, have anything, have something to do, affects climate too, affects what happened at that particular region. Then another thing is the distance from the sea and the continentality, distance from the sea. The cooling effect of the sea is felt in areas that are close to them than the open ground. You see a house here that is close to the sea. The current, or ocean current, and the cooling effect of the sea will affect this particular place than ordinary place. That is what we mean by distance from the sea. Just like you have somebody and you pour water, and the person is close to you, and that water touches that person before spreading. I discussed this thing with you in our SS1. Then slopes and aspects. Steep slope means slope that are very sharp. Then gentle slope means they are very slow, they are not sharp. So the steep slope experience more rapid change in temperature. Temperature could be low and immediately just become high than gentle slope. The word gentle, they also release, they have a change in temperature slowly too from the word gentle. To the steep slope, they are the ones that are, this is a gentle slope, this is a steep slope that you are seeing here. Then we also need to look at natural vegetation and soil. Natural vegetation and soil. A forest is a forest. The foliage, that is thick leaf of forest, cut off the sunlight energy. As they form canopy on top, the sun ray that is coming, the radiation or the sunlight that is coming that's supposed to touch the ground is being cut off or reduced by that particular the leaves or that forest, those forest plants. And so the forest temperature in the forest is cooler than that of ordinary open ground. That is one thing. Then light soil reflects heat, that is throw it back, than the darker one. Darker one, they absorb the heat, and so it does not really make the people around there to feel much heat. Like the sandy soil, once it touches them, they throw it back. And so when you stay within that area, the soil will give you more heat. That is what we mean by natural vegetation and then soil. Then we also need to look at another thing, cloud cover. Cloud cuts off, just like the thick foliage, like I've explained on that foliage, cloud reduces or cuts off the amount of solar radiation coming from the sun reaching the air. And the one that is also the heat that is leaving the earth going into space, cloud can also block it. If it blocks that, the one leaving the earth going into space, that means the surrounding air become hot. The heat will have no space to escape. That is the work of the cloud cover. This is a cloud. It can make a particular place to become hot, especially the equatorial region. We will look at those regions when we're talking about climate and vegetation very soon. Then we also need to look at this climate in Africa. We have the equatorial, that's what I just said, the hot climate, areas that have hot this thing. They are found in Zaire Basin and coast of West Africa. Some of the characteristics are no winter, the high temperature and humidity. Another one is tropical continental, that is called Sudan climate. That's another name. This one in the West Africa, curve round to the south and east, curve round to the east and then come down to the, from the west, come down to the east and then come down to the south. They have a rainfall mainly convectional that's happening shortly and normally in afternoon time. The hot rainy season and cool dry season. These ones are the characteristics of this tropical that Sudan climate. We have Mediterranean climate. This one is found in tip or horns of Africa, just like say the tip of something, like the southwest as a down. That's what we mean. They're like Cape Town and northeast, like Tunisia, Morocco. These are countries that are saying they should be able to know these countries by now. It has bright sunny weather. Rainfall is abundant in winter. These are the characteristics of that. These are what you see here. This one represents temperate, tropical. This one represents desert. This you are seeing here means these areas are desert that you are seeing here. Then this one represents uh, there are a semi-Mediterranean zone that you are seeing here. The marine area and so many other. This one represents highland. These places are seen here. So when you see them like highland, they are found especially in the northern part. That is what you are saying there. Then we also need to look at the hot desert climates, another type of climate. I've seen the equatorial Mediterranean. This one is found in Sahara Desert. From the word desert, aridity or rainlessness, because desert is an arid region, dry place with high rate of evaporation. Then warm temperature eastern margin. This one is found in southeast, first east margin of South Africa, southeast. It has wetter summer and dry winter. We know what is summer, we'll discuss summer and winter. Then another one is temperate continental or steppe. This one is found in belt of South Africa. It has rainfall conventional and light. It's not heavy. I've discussed what conventional rainfall means, what is. Then what are the importance for this? Mechanized and pastoral farming is practicable, it's done because you have grasses there. The nomadic herding too is possible in that area. This is a typical climate map that you're seeing. This one represents hot desert. This place I see here, hot desert. Then Mediterranean zone. This dark side is equatorial. We have just discussed there. Equatorial. These are these highlands. You see this place like here. There is mountain or highland here. These are the climates you are seeing. As I have already explained. This one shows this. You can pause here, take your time and look at them very well. This is warm amazement. This is a warm Guinea current. These ones are current that comes where the air has the blow. That's what I mean. This particular place here is Mediterranean. You are seeing here. So then we also need to look at factors affecting vegetation. Vegetation on its own is different from climate. Climate is one of the factors that make a place to be bushy or having this kind of, well, that's what I mean by vegetation, having this kind of grass or tree that you found there, what you grow in those kind of places. That's talking about the vegetation. Climate is one. High temperature with low rainfall can make grasses to die and cause the place to be sparse in terms of vegetation. Then topography too. Steep slope have low vegetation. When the slope is steep, there is nowhere on it. Water enters and washes down. There's nowhere the water can percolate and then make grasses to come. Then adaphic or soil. The type of soil affects water percolation. There are some soil that retain water. Some they will just drain it. Some do not allow. They do not absorb or retain water. Then biotic too. Mass human activity. Man can cut grasses, deforestation, and also you can till whatever you do. You can pour chemical, whatever you do there can cause it can affect the vegetation of that area. If you're a lumber, you will not allow the forest to remain. Begin to cut tree, cut tree. We'll discuss lumbering in our subsequent classes by the grace of God. Then we also need to look at these types of vegetation in Africa. Talking about tropical rainforest. This one from the word rain and then forest means forest is saying there. They are found in Zaire Basin of Central Africa and coast of East Africa. When you say coast, areas living close to the water. They have trees, have few branches. The presence of abundant hardwood like iroko, obeche, mahogany, walnut, and trees have broad leaves because they are deciduous. That's what I mean. Then we have economic importance. That is what we have said. The uses of or importance of vegetation. What are they? What good thing do they do to the economy? One, timbers are used for construction, for road, buildings, and all, furniture and all. Then the bark of leaf and the leaves of bark and leaves of trees are used for medicine or herb. The income to the lumber, those people that cut down those trees, they get income from there. They make money from there. Another one is tropical savanna. It is called grassland. This one they found in west and then east and south of Africa. West, east, and south of Africa. It has presence of short scattered grasses or trees. Trees are deciduous. They shed leaves annually. They shed their leaves. That's what we mean by deciduous trees. They share leaf annually. They are not a coniferous. You were taught types of wood in the JSF, the presence of tall grasses. What do you do this with these trees and this particular vegetation? Livestock farming is practicable because we have a grasses there. The nomadic herding too is carried out. Animals come to feed on those grasses. This is one of the examples of the trees that are found here. This one is called Iroko tree. This one you are seeing here is an Iroko tree that found in this tropical rainforest of Africa. Then let us look at another type too. We have the Mediterranean vegetation. This one is found in the northwest of Africa. Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, South Africa, Cape Town, they are among. Trees are evergreen. Plants are adapted to long period of drought. That is, there is dryness and they still survive. Then plants, some plants have long roots to draw water from afar because of the drought. That is long period of water supply or water availability. They have long root and then they use it to manage to go down and take water that is available. Dominant plants are redwood, oak, and so many others. There's presence of Mediterranean bushes and sprouts. Then what do we use them for? Grapefruit is called viticulture. It is practicable. Then trees provide wood for timber for construction. Another one is desert vegetation. This one is found in Sahara, Kalahari, and Namib desert. These are the types of desert we have. They have aridity or rainlessness, no rain, dryness, high evaporation rate. That's what happened there. Plants are xerophytes, that is drought resistant. Even when we say xerophyte, this is a xerophyte plant. Even when there is no water, they can survive. That was what we mean. Then some are halophytes, salt tolerant. When the area becomes salty, they can still survive. This is a halophyte plant. These are the kinds of crops or plants that you see in those areas. Then we also need to look at temperate grassland. It's called high field. This one is found in South Africa. The name parkland, it's also called parkland or grass or savanna. They have a deciduous tree, the one that share leaves, I've told you annually. Then popular trees are baobab, acacia, and so many others. The livestock farming is also practicable because there are grasses there. The nomadic herding is practicable too. The last one is the montane vegetation. Montane vegetation. It is found in Ethiopia, mountain of East Africa, Mount Cameroon, and so many others. This one is associated with mountainous area. It has thick forest on windward side. I've discussed windward side the other day. The side that wind can affect, and then the leeward side is the side that have shelter against the movement of the wind. That's what we mean by that. Then we also need to look at vegetation of Africa as we have looked at the climate of Africa. This is the vegetation. Tropical rainforest, that's what we have discussed. This is what you are seeing here, tropical rainforest. Then subtropical forest, this one is under temperate grassland. We have discussed temperate grassland, is temperate grassland. Then mangrove swamp, this one is this mountain, the one we just did. This one contains the male ones and the ones under. This is mountain we have just discussed. Then this savanna that look like flag, this savanna region of vegetation, savanna vegetation. Then Mediterranean vegetation, this one that look like flag too, is what you are seeing here, Mediterranean vegetation. These are the vegetation of Africa that you can see. Remember we said there are factors that affect climate. They include, we talked about altitude, latitude, we talked about the natural vegetation and soil, cloud cover, and so many others. We've also looked at this climate that we have in Africa. Talk about the Sudan climate, talk about the hot desert climate, and so many other climate. We've also gone to vegetation, talking about how bushy or forest the place is and the kind of grasses that are seen there. We talked about forest, tropical forest vegetation. We talked about the Mediterranean vegetation, and then we talked about the grasses like the oak, the trees like the oak, iroko, mahogany, acacia, so many others that are seen in them. And some are used for building houses, for construction, and they give income to those that love. And some of these vegetation too, they have grasses, and so they serve for nomadic herding, that is, animals come to graze or there. We've also talked about the dry climate, that's Sahara, the desert climate. We talk about the Namib Sahara desert, talk about the Sahara desert, and those deserts that are seen there. I will talk about their characteristics. We say rainlessness is there. There is no rain and a high evaporation. I will talk about some crops that can survive there, like the xerophyte, the halophyte, and so many others. Till we meet again, we pray for you to remain blessed. Thank you very much. God bless you.